Hello friends, I am going to be helping you make buttons and things for your Canvas page. So here you go. I like to use PowerPoint, and you want to start with a blank page. Double click there, open. I like to remove these pages, right, like that. I'm going to go to design at the top, slide size, page setup, and I'm going to change this to 8 by 8. So now I have a square. Scale up. There we go. So here is my square. So if you're going to do, which is probably the easiest thing, doing circles, I'm going to go right here to shapes. We're going to do circle. And I'm going to start at the corner here and drag it to about the same size as my page. So that's a pretty good circle. So I want to line it up, so notice it's not quite in the middle of my page. So here where it says align, I'm going to click there. I'm going to align center, and I'm going to align the middle. All right, now I don't like this button the way it is, or this circle the way it is, so I'm going to double click on this line that is around it. So that's going to give me some more options here. This is a shape, it's a circle. I'm going to change the fill. You can change it to a color, or if you have backgrounds that you already have saved, which I have a ton, you can change it to a background. Now, that just automatically went there because that's one that I have used. So if you want to choose one, you can go right here to Insert, and then you can go to wherever yours is. Let me go down here. Actually, let me go over here because I have one closer at hand that I can use. All right, let's say I like this background. So I'm going to double click there. There's my cute little background. All right, so I like to have a border around my circle, my button, whatever it is. So I'm going to kind of compress that so I can get to my line feature. I want to go with a solid line. For me personally, I don't know why it defaults to a blue. I don't want blue. I want black. So, and if you want a really thick line, I think that about 10, maybe, if you like it smaller, that's fine, would be a good one. Actually, I think I might even change the color of this a little bit. Let's see if I well, let me explain this. So, anytime you want to change the color of anything, text or background or whatever, to a certain color, you're going to come right here to the color, do the arrow down, more colors, and then you're going to get this. Now, up here, you can choose different colors that look good to you. But what I usually use is this little dropper thing. So you click on there, and we're going to find what color we want. So maybe, let's see, maybe I want something like that. And if you could see on that white area, see that square? So that square is where the color is that I'm going to be picking. All right, so let's say I want to find a kind of a darker one. Find a really good one. Oh my goodness, this is harder than it looked. Okay, let's go with that one. Let's see what that looks like. Not too bad. Now, let's say I like that shade of color, but I want it darker. So see right here, I can change the color of it a little bit, and that looks really kind of good. All right, so there we go. So there is my circle. Now I'm going to add the text. So Insert, and I like to use Word Art. I'm going to use this very first one. You can use any of them, but I usually use this first one or the third one. But I've kind of been using this first one more so I can change more features of it. All right, so now I am going to type my text. Let's say I'm going to call it subjects, like that. That's a boring font. So what I'm going to do is I am going to click on the box around subjects. Sorry for my buggy eyes. I tend to bug out my eyes when I'm working, so sorry. So here is the box around that. So notice if I'm in this right here, the cursor is blinking, so I am not going to be choosing everything inside the box. It'll just be at that exact place. If I'm like over here, nothing has been selected, so I'm not telling my computer what I'm wanting to work on. When I click on there, notice that I'm telling my computer that it's this circle right here that I want to change. If I'm clicking on here, I'm wanting to change this, but I don't want that cursor there. So I'm going to click on that You barely see line around there. Okay, I am going to change this font. So if you go to Home and you come right over here, I've got a lot of really cool fonts, but I will show you how to get them and download them. Let's go with that one. I want to make it bigger. Subjects, there we go. Let's see, I'm going to put it about right there. All right, and then I am going to add some clip art. Now, you can go do insert and things like that, but what I like to do is, why isn't it coming up? Let's see, maybe it's because that's there. I am moving. Let me go to right here, and I'm going to go to desktop because I have a bunch of things saved there for something I'm getting ready to do. Let's see. Nope, I don't want that one. All right, these are cute. I don't know how well they'll match, but we'll go with it. All right, so here are some clip art that I have. This is free. So I like to do it this way so I can kind of look at it better. All right, and then let's say I want to use this one, so I click on it and I drag it over here. And then, there it is. Now, if I want to, I can turn it, let's say like this. All right, so I'm going to move this down just a little bit. Now there's lots of things you can do with these. Okay, so you see my line right here. All right, if I click on picture format, I can change something. So right here, this is rotate object. So if I want to, I can always flip it if I wanted it to go the other way. Let's say I wanted it to be curved down like that. I can also do that. If you don't like any of those, you can just go undo, and there we go. All right, this is something else cool. If you like this, but you want to maybe change some of the colors of it, all right, make sure that you are on the actual image, and then over here in format picture. Now let me tell you, if you're like this and you're like, it's not showing up, all you have to do is kind of double click on your image or on this the white line around it, and then these features will come up. Okay. If you go to this very last one, this is where you can kind of play around with some of the colors. So here's color correction. So let's say if I click there, it's going to give me some examples. I don't notice a really big difference in those. Let's look at this one. I don't know if there's any of these that I would really want to use, but let me show you what I do use. Color picture, and that is these. So let's say you wanted to mute it some. That looks kind of cool, actually. I'm going to go back. I think, I don't remember the middle one's the one that is the original one. If I want to change it, there, that changed a little more. This one down here is the coolest. So you can turn, oops, not that one. Depending on what, let me go back, undo some of these things that I've done to this poor flower. Okay. On this one, depending on, this one isn't a good example, but depending on what you have as your image, sometimes you can make it into a black line master kind of a thing. It doesn't work on this particular image. But anyways, all that to say, you can mess around with some of the colors if you don't like them the way that they are, maybe that it just doesn't fit, it's too strong of a color, or you wanted a stronger color or whatever. So that is that with the formatting of a picture. Okay, now I have my button right here. So what I want to do, oh, let me back up. Here's another feature. So when you're using text, make sure that if you're going to do some formatting of it, make sure that you have clicked text options. If you're clicking shape options, that means you're working with this whole object, and that may not be what you want to be doing. All right, like if you're doing a line or whatever, that means you're putting a line around that whole object. All right, see, like if I do this, see how I put a line around it. We don't want that. All right. Undo. Okay, so you want to make sure you're on text options. Okay, so there are some cool things. Here's shadow. I like to use shadow a lot. So there's my shadow. You can change, you can mess around with it a little bit. How much of the shadow you want. Maybe you want to change the color of the shadow. let's see, the size of the shadow. Of course, I just changed that to white, so it's probably not going to show as well there. That looks really weird. Whee, that's crazy. Let me do some undo here. Undo, undo, undo. All right, the angle, oh, change this back to black. The angle of it, see, I can change kind of the angle of it, the distance of it, and so on. Okay, so, or you can just go back to, oh, I like that the best. All right, I've also kind of gotten into this whole glow feature. It's kind of neat. So let's say that, I don't like that color. So let me go with the white. It kind of mutes it around. It looks kind of neat. You could also, I guess, go with one of these colors that's matching. And again, if you really want to, you can go to more colors. Let's say you want it to be one of these colors. There you go. I think that's ugly. But anyways, but you can mess around with it however you want. All right, so here you go. So there is your button. Now, what you're going to do to save this is you're going to go to File, and you're going to go to Export. All right. You need to know where you're going to be putting it, because if not, you're going to lose it and it's going to be gone and you're going to have a hard time finding it unless you have a good organization system. Have a good organization system. All right, I went to desktop. You can always add a new folder right here. Let's call it button. Oops. Buttons, like that. All right, now we are not done. We want to name what this is, because all we're doing is saving this one button. All right, so I'm going to put subjects like that. All right, and then down here, we do not want it to be a PDF. We want it to be a PNG. Now, if this is the first time you've done it, you probably want to make sure that this is selected, Save Current Slide Only. So that means you're saving just this current slide, not all of them. Now, that being said, thinking about this, I may have to try it, save every slide, and see how that works. I don't know. So, Save Current Slide Only. All right, subjects, button, PNG, export. So now I have put that on my desktop. So let's look at that. So I have it right here, buttons, and here it is. Now, once you have that, if it's a circle, especially if it is a square, but since this is a circle, I guess it doesn't matter as much, but I kind of like to do this. When you open it up, now I have it open up into the preview mode right here. If you, sometimes it opens up into Adobe or something like that. I believe if you click right click and then get info, let me see, open with, and you can change it right there to preview. I do everything like in preview like that. Okay. So that's my default. All right, so right here, this little pencil that's up, you're going to click there, and that gives us some tools. This right here, this second tool, that will help you make it transparent. So what I'm going to do is click here, and then all I did was just hold my mouse down and kind of move to the side, and on its own, it picked this whole outside part. Okay, now you do not want to click crop. I'll show you why. It goes away. We don't want that. All right, so what you want to do is click there, do that. You want to click the delete button. All right, now what I've done is I've taken away all of the background except for this one button. So there you go. And then your button is ready to be put in your Canvas page. So hopefully that was helpful. And I'm turning it off.